disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
All right. Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me as always, my podcast partner, Mike Gibbs. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, Gene? How are you?
I'm good, man. All right. If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we're members of the Martial Arts Internet Network. On Mondays, you got Raw with Mimi and Lump. Tuesday, CTE, Chris, Travis, and Carlos Experience. Maybe that should be CTCE. Wednesdays, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Eugene and Mike. And Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. For more information, you can check us out on all of our Martial Arts Internet Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Mike, it's showtime. What's up, man?
What's going on? Hey, I'm just going to say this.
Yeah.
I must have had a higher expectation of movies back when I was younger because after watching this movie, I've watched it twice now. It's not bad. It's not as bad as what I thought. So
it's not.
So I'm happy.
You know what, Mike? You probably have seen more of this movie than me. I haven't seen the whole movie yet. I've only seen half. So so
where are we stopping at? What part?
We're gonna stop at. Let me go to my notes. We're gonna stop right when he jumps off of the roof of the garage and the police are coming. We're gonna stop. Okay, we're gonna stop there. That's almost at half. So we're gonna stop right there. And the first time I watched the movie, that's where I stopped at last week or 2 weeks ago. And this time, that's where I stopped at. So my schedule got a little bit thrown off, Normally I watch these movies on either Friday or Saturday nights, and then I watch it again on Monday or Tuesday. But because of the situation we have, we're recording a little bit early this time.
Right.
So
my apologies.
It's no problem, man.
But I gotta go on vacation, man. I need a vacation.
Oh, I understand, man. I wish I could have took a vacation, man. Me and Crystal, we normally take a vacation twice a year. We normally go in the summertime, somewhere in between.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we normally go sometime either at her birthday, which is the 1st of June, or at the end of June. We normally take a vacation then. And then later on, sometime in the fall, we normally go somewhere. But with COVID this year, you just couldn't. I just couldn't gamble, and I'm not a woods person, so I really didn't feel comfortable going out into the woods or something like that on a little camping trip. That's just not me, man. I don't know how to.
That's what had me going.
I don't know how to set up a tent or anything like that. You know how to set up a tent?
Yeah, me going so my friends had me. We're all taking our motorcycles. And we're going to ride like the mountains in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And we have a older gentleman that we've all met, like mutual older retired guy. We're going to stay at his house like the first 3 days, which I'm cool with because like I just know this guy and I'm good with it. Mm-hmm. So, but then we're going to go like away some way into the mountains and stay at this campground, man. And there's the cabins, but they say there's like bears and stuff. And I'm like, oh, man.
You know what, man?
Now, I think I could beat a bear. I could beat a bear. I could sidekick a bear.
But you know what, man? It depends on what type of bear. Okay, so I took, in college, I took a nature study class, right? And I had this teacher who was into animals. She actually does volunteer work in Ann Arbor at like some type of rescue facility for animals. So she has all these exotic animals, and she has some in her house also that she takes care of, right? And this is only a couple years ago because I went back to school in 2016 because I was trying to finish up and get my degree. This is before I started working at Google. And so she knows a lot about animals. And one of the topics we covered were bears. And she was telling us the difference between a brown bear and a black bear. So pretty much no matter what, if a bear comes up on you and, he wants to do something to you, you're supposed to just lay there and just take the pummeling that the bear is going to do to you. If it messes around and, knocks you down or hits you or something, you're supposed to cover up and just lay there and wait for it to leave. Now, she said a brown bear won't eat a human, but a black bear will eat a human.
Man, that's what's it.
Black bears?
Here.
Okay, well.
And I guess it comes down at 6 o'clock every day to the campground, and everyone feeds it. Are you
a hunter, Mike? You ever hunted?
Hell no. I don't even like bugs.
Okay. So, when I was married way back in the day for them 4 months, my ex-father-in-law, he hunts, and he asked me to go hunting. I don't know if I told you this before, but he asked me to go hunting with him. And I said, all right, cool. Because I was figuring, like, this is the first time I've ever been hunting.
Was he black?
Yeah, he's black. Yeah. He has property down in Arizona. Arkansas.
I seen the Ice-T movie, Surviving the Game.
So, he wanted me to come onto his property down in Arkansas that he has. And, he hunts deer. So I said, okay, cool. I thought, but I just got to thinking about it, man. I'm like, wait, if I shoot a deer, I'm not going to want to touch it. I'm not going to want to help him lift it and put it in the truck. That's just not me. It creeps me out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to want to cut it up and all types of stuff. That's not me. But he was teaching me about hunting, and he was saying that what he does when he goes hunting, he has his dogs, the hunting dogs that he takes with him. He also says you're supposed to take a pit with you also.
What's the pit for?
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. He said a pit is the only dog that's crazy enough to fight a bear if you come up on a bear and you're in the woods. So he said those hound dogs won't. He said the hound dogs won't do nothing. They'll be scared. But the pit will attack the bear. And that gives you enough time to load your rifle to shoot that damn bear. So I said, wow, okay, well, this is not an activity I'm interested in at all. This is too much stuff going on. We got pits, we got bears. I'm a city boy. It's just not for me.
If there's bears out there, I'm gonna have my gun already loaded.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He said that with the hunting dogs also.
Hey, yeah.
Huh?
That just, man, I might not even go on this trip.
Oh, I didn't mean to mess your trip, man.
Man, I mean, I'm about riding motorcycles with my boys, but I'm not trying to die by no black bear. Can you imagine if that's how I went out? And you're going to be at my eulogy, give my eulogy, stand up there, G. I want you to give it and be like, man, I tried to tell him. Hey, man, I got to tell a quick story, though. You brought up an old memory for me when you mentioned Ann Arbor.
Go ahead.
So I worked in West Virginia for a year. And, this is right when we got Rich Rod from West Virginia. And they hated Rich Rod because of this. And they hated Michigan. And so they were talking one time, and we would have a small group of us would always talk about sports. And there was this one guy, he kind of knew about sports, and he kind of didn't. But only people from Michigan are going to get this. But so the guy would try to get in our conversations. It was after Rich Rodriguez had just came to Michigan and met with him before he even signed. He said, hey, Mike, I heard there was a big meeting up in Michigan this weekend with Rich Rod. I said, yeah, there was. He was in, and they hated him. I was like, yeah, we're going to get him. He's our new coach. He knows Michigan's a better program than West Virginia. Yeah. He goes, yeah, there was a big meeting up there. He met with the athletic director. He met with the president of the university. And he met with some lady named Ann Arbor.
Oh, wow.
I about died. Hey, even the other people from West Virginia, they sat there and looked and they were like, what did you just say? Yeah, man, but when you mentioned Ann Arbor, it made me think about that guy, Joey. His name was Joe Schulteis. But I called him Joey Hollywood. So, Joey Hollywood, if you're watching this, you're still making me laugh, brother.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Ann Arbor. So, yeah, I didn't get a chance to finish watching the whole movie, but what I did see, I did like so far. I did. You know what I did watch? I watched Transformers on Netflix. Transformers has a new show on Netflix, and it's real good, man. If anybody's listening and like Transformers, especially the Generation 1 cartoon show,
Transformers at all.
Man, that show is good. You know what? It's pretty much like the prequel to the original Transformer cartoon. So it tells you what happens with the Autobots and Decepticons before the Autobots came to Earth. And you saw some of the original cartoon characters. You also saw, you remember when the movie came out, Transformers, the animated movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you saw some other new Transformers who you never saw before who were already on Cybertron. So we see those characters also. They're there also in this first thing. Yeah. So it's real good, man. It's real good. It's a little bit different because Bumblebee is not one of the Autobots at first. He ends up eventually joining them, but it's real good, man. It's real good. So if you get a minute, check that out. Yeah,
I might check that out tonight, actually.
Yeah, so they only it's 6 episodes, and they're only 24 minutes long or something like that. So
that ain't bad.
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad at all. You know, I was just, when I got home last night, I was just tired, man, and I didn't feel like wanting to watch something, have to pay attention. I just kind of wanted to just chill out and relax. I knew if I watched Rumble in the Bronx last night, I was gonna have to pay close attention, even though, I normally do 2 runs, like watch it one time just to enjoy the movie and get an understanding of what I'm about to watch, and then when I watch the second time, then that's when I take my notes, where I don't have to focus on it as closely. But this time I had to watch it for the first time and take notes, but I still enjoyed it, so let's jump into it, man. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. All right, so the movie begins. We see an airplane. It's coming in. It's in the sky at first. Then it lands at the airport. We see what was his name? Keyoung. So he's played by Jackie Chan. Keyoung. He arrives. He's looking around. He's looking for his uncle. He finds his uncle. Actually, his uncle finds him because he was going out of the airport, and his uncle was coming into the airport. Now, I kind of got confused at first because it had subtitles on the screen as I was watching the movie, right? And I'm assuming they were talking in Chinese because later on the uncle asked him if he knows how to speak English, and he says, yes, I can speak a little English. I speak, okay. And then he said, okay, well, let's just start talking in English. And then the subtitles went away. But even though they were supposedly speaking in Chinese, they were still speaking in English for us. So you can read and listen at the same time, But it still, it kind of seemed like, almost like one of these other movies we saw before, where it kind of seemed like even though they were speaking in English, it seemed like it was an overdub for some of the stuff they were saying. Because I was looking at the lips, and it was matching.
Some of it didn't match up.
Yeah, some of it didn't, some of it did. But I'm thinking I've heard Jackie Chan speak before. So I know this is his voice, but it doesn't seem like this is his voice. Like it's not really matching the movie. Right. You know what I mean?
So I noticed that same thing. Then I noticed later on in the movie, so like the main characters, so not that I know what the other characters, the other co-stars, what their voices sound like, but like I know what Jackie Chan's voice sounds like. So his was matching up, but if you watch some of the other, like later on in the movie, some of the gang members, theirs don't match up at all. So some of the people that don't have major roles, it don't match up at all. Yeah. I think they dubbed like Jackie and the co-stars right, but when other people have small roles, it don't really match up.
Okay. So as they exit, they see each other, they hug. I had to rewind this part back. Actually, I was surprised I had to rewind it back so early because he's coming out and he's pushing his luggage. And when he stops to hug his uncle, the luggage rolls away. And then they run after it. And cause I put him like, wait, what happened? And then I saw that he was pushing his luggage and he let it go to hug his uncle. You know, it was something that was just a little small thing, but it kind of made me laugh, you know.
Uncle Billy.
Yeah, Uncle Bill. So Keong and Uncle Bill, you call him Billy? I just wrote Bill. We call him Billy. Billy, all right, we're going to go with Billy, people.
Billy.
Keong and Uncle Billy are in the car. Uncle Billy asks Keong if you know how to speak English. Like I said before, he says that, you know, it's okay for simple things. And then Uncle Billy tells him the more that he speaks English, the better his English is going to be. Uncle Billy thanks him for coming. They haven't really told us why he's there at first. And I kind of was thinking like it was going to be like Way of the Dragon. I thought that he was coming to help his uncle, like deal with some bad people who have been harassing his store or whatever. But it kind of eventually turned into that. That's not what it was initially, but it kind of turned into that. So Keong is gonna stay an extra week. Keong is impressed with Manhattan. He's looking out the window when he arrives, and Keong asks if this is where the market was, and Uncle Billy says no, he can only dream of having a market in Manhattan. His market is in the Bronx. Now, Mike, have you ever been to New York?
I've been to New York, never to the Bronx.
You been to Manhattan or New York City or whatever?
No, upstate.
Yeah, I have too. I've been to Buffalo. I went there for a tournament, but other than that,
I drove through New York, but that was it. Never. Stopped.
Okay. Yes, I that's one thing I want to do one day. I don't know. I got a problem though because I wanted to go to New York just to see it. You know, go to the Statue of Liberty and all that. But I don't like crowds, man. So I'm gonna have a big problem like walking down the street and bumping into people and touching people and riding subways and all that stuff and dealing with my personal space. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's gonna do something to my anxiety. I know.
You better not go.
I don't know, man. I might do something and go enjoy myself. Right. So they arrive in the Bronx, and Keong definitely sees the difference. He says that it looks a little rough in the Bronx. Uncle Billy tells them something is always happening there. And he'll just have to get used to it, The next scene, they arrive at Uncle Billy's apartment. He calls out for his fiance. She isn't home, so he says she must be at the market. Keong is impressed with the size of the apartment, and then he's looking at the wall and he sees pictures of the family. And Uncle Billy points to a picture of Keong's father. And evidently, Keong's father is a martial artist who used to fight and win a lot of tournaments. And Uncle Billy says that that's like what Keong is doing now. So now we find out that Keong is a martial artist and he wins. Yeah, champion in Hong Kong. Of course, we had to bring it back to Hong Kong. Like so many of our other movies. Uncle Billy says that him and his brother were inseparable until he decided to come to America. And he's been here for almost 30 years. He misses his family. He tells them that he's going to get ready. Then as he walks away, Keong sees one of those Wing Chun dummies. Mike, have you ever used one of these things before?
We had one at one of my schools, and we weren't even in like a Chinese school. I don't know why they had it, but they were also like a martial arts storefront. So that's why I think we had it. Okay. But yeah, I thought I was swinging with it one time, and it hurts.
Yeah, it looked like it hurt. No, I don't either. It doesn't look fun at all, man. And nope. I really don't understand the purpose of it.
The only thing I think it would be good, because I thought about that watching it. I'm like, well, that's kind of dumb. And I'm like, what would I use it for? And the only thing I use it for is like practice like parry blocks, like lift, trap, and strike type thing. But even that,
I'm gonna be honest, man. If I had one of those, it'd probably be a coat rack. I'd probably be keeping my coats on it or something, man. I really couldn't see myself really practicing on that thing, man. I don't know.
All my kung fu listeners, he didn't mean that.
Yeah, I did, man. If the chair in my bedroom also doubles as a hanger.
Hey, so is that.
Right.
Chances are that's gonna.
Yeah, exactly. So hey, it is what it is. Right. And Keong asked Uncle Billy if he still uses that. He says no. He said it would have been firewood.
Right. if his brother hadn't built it for him.
Yeah. So so Keong sees it. He goes over to it. He starts working out on it, and he's doing good. Uncle Billy sees him. He comes and looks at him and watches him, and then he hears some clapping in the doorway, and we see the neighbor, little boy in a wheelchair. His name is Danny. He claps in approval, and then Uncle Billy greets Danny, introduces him to Keong. And he tells him that Keong is a Hong Kong champion. Uncle Billy asks Danny if he should be on his way to school. Danny says he's going, and Uncle Billy and Keong decide to take Danny down to the bus stop. Man, that was a little sad with that story, because that kid, as far as I've seen so far, like, he doesn't have any parents, so he's raised by his sister, and he's in a wheelchair. And his sister doesn't spend any time with him at all. He's alone all the time. It was a little sad. He goes to the bus to tell him bye, and then Keong realizes he still had a video game in his back pocket. He goes around the bus, hands it through the window of the bus, and gives it to Danny. Tells him he can have it. He doesn't.
He had just met this kid.
He just met him.
Well, that's how sad that boy is.
Yeah. He didn't have anything. Was that a Game Gear? You remember Game Gear?
I don't remember.
It was made by.
Man, I was trying to look.
I think it was a Game Gear.
Game Gear wasn't that big. I didn't think.
I don't know, man. Because
I'm gonna look it up.
Because I know my brother had one. Trav had one, and he even had the TV tuner. You could connect this little antenna to it, and then watch television. So I think that was a Game Gear. But I really couldn't tell. Or it was that Atari version. Atari came out with one right around the same time that Game Gear came out, because I had that one, and I can't remember the name of that game system.
They never show the front of it.
No, they didn't. You just saw it from the back. So while you look that up, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, let me know if you think that's it or not. Okay. So as Danny gets on the bus and he's driving off, Uncle Billy tells Keong Danny has a hard life. He only has a sister, and she neglects him.
It's a Game Gear.
It is a Game Gear. You think so?
It's a Game Gear.
Okay.
Good call. You got it. I don't know what you won, but I don't know.
All right. The next thing, you got anything else for Danny on the bus?
No. Danny just said already, but I mean, you figure out what's going on with his home life in a minute.
Yeah, we do. So Uncle Billy and Keong arrive at you know what, man? I like Uncle Billy. I do. And I've met people like him. He just seemed like a likable person. Like, everybody in the neighborhood likes him. He was real friendly. Like, this guy that acted this part, I would be surprised if this was not his real character. Like, this is how he acts. Because when he walks into the store, he's talking to people. When friends come by, he's glad to see him, and he's real jovial. And I've seen people like that, in neighborhoods, and everybody likes those type of people,
Right.
So they arrived at the supermarket. Uncle Billy says that this is his life's work. Uncle Billy says he's going to see a buyer today. So he's thinking of, he's going to sell the supermarket. He's going to retire. And Keong goes inside the supermarket while Uncle Billy is watching the people who are painting the building. I guess he saw one half of the building what hadn't been painted yet. So he went around that side to figure out what was going on. And Keong goes on the inside of the supermarket to look around. He's looking around and he sees a Chinese woman in there. She's walking around with a clipboard. It looks like she's doing inventory. Now, Keong, when he walks in, he just assumed that this is his future aunt. Because Uncle Billy said that she was inside the store. So he's looking for her. So he approaches this woman, and they she smiles at him. He smiles at her. She nods. And he's just kind of like walking along with her. And then she asks him if he needs some help. and he introduces himself, and then she knows who he is, so she knew that he was Uncle Billy's nephew. Right. So she said, "Oh, so you just got here?" And he says, "Yes." And then he attempts to give her a gift because he's assuming that this is his aunt, and she was confused by it when he did that. Then Uncle Billy comes in and says, "That's not your aunt." that made me laugh because I think he said, like, every Chinese woman here is not your aunt. That made me laugh. Where I lost my spot. Here it is. So he introduces her as Miss Chung, and she's here to help coordinate the wedding. We hear a woman say, "Honey," and a woman comes over and kisses Uncle Bill. Uncle Bill tells her that this is Keon. He introduces her, and she is surprised, and she kisses Keon. Now, this was a surprise because it was a black woman, So Uncle Billy, he was going to marry a black woman, and Keon was like seriously shocked. Like, he was shocked and surprised. I didn't know if that was like, was he upset or was he just dumbfounded or just?
He was dumbfounded.
Just caught him off guard, huh?
Being from Hong Kong.
Yeah. So, but she's worried about the champagne arriving, and Uncle Billy tells her everything is going to be fine, and then he tells her to go speak with Mrs. Chung. Uncle Billy asks Keon if he's surprised to see his aunt, and Keon says yes. Uncle Billy then tells him, "Welcome to America." He says that she is a great woman, so he's happy, and that's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters. Like, this is the person I love. This is the person I'm gonna marry, and I'm happy. Nothing else really matters. And then a man comes into the store and calls out to Uncle Billy. Uncle Billy goes over to greet him and asks Keon to give his aunt a hand. One of the things that when I was watching the movie that I got a little not confused with this, but I don't know, I had trouble keeping up with people when they first introduced, because they really wasn't saying people's names. Like the aunt,
right.
Like I had to Google to find out what her name was.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know.
What was it?
It was Aunt Whitney. I think it was like Whitney Ma. Yeah. So Uncle Bill greets the man named Walter. He was there at the door. He enters Uncle Billy to his client, a woman named Elaine. Was it Elena? I think it was Elaine.
Elaine.
She is interested in buying the market. They go into Uncle Billy's office to talk. She likes the two-way mirror when she sees that. Walter says it's good. A good boss must keep an eye on everything. So Uncle Billy shows her his records. So he's trying to make the sale of the store. I wonder I haven't seen the rest of the movie, but I've still been wondering, like, why does he want to sell? I know he wants to retire, but why he doesn't just let someone else manage it and and own it? But I guess maybe he said he's been there for 30 years and that was his life work. I guess he's just ready to move on to something else.
Lose all that money, man, when you're not there, you lose money. Yeah.
Especially someplace like a store, where, you have a lot of inventory and things disappear and everything, So Keon is helping stock the shelves. Aunt Whitney comes over and she likes him. She likes his muscles. She likes his face. She even says something like, too bad your uncle doesn't have these muscles. So what did you think about this woman?
She was kind of, at first I just thought she was like, real, like, mean mug, tough, kind of.
She's actually rough around the edges
a little bit. I know, but that's why I said it first. But we find out.
Yeah, so she was very great.
Hey, I don't know what part. I don't know if you get this part talking about the aunt. I don't know if it's before we're going to cut off today. But you know what had me on the floor in this movie? When they walked in and they had on the matching sweaters.
Yes, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Yeah, I had a good laugh when I saw that. Yeah. That was something people used to do all the time back in the day. Especially like if you in the city. if people were going to, if you were dating somebody and you were going to Cedar Point or Babalo, people definitely used to dress alike with each other, especially in the 90s. People used to, have the matching overalls or matching basketball team jersey, all that type of stuff.
Yeah. You're right. I remember that.
You remember that now?
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about sweaters. Like I never had no matching sweaters with nobody.
I think I never had a matching sweater, but some college stuff. Me and Crystal, like we have T-shirts that are similar. They're not exactly alike, but it's a fair. They're both fair state shirts or whatever.
Right.
And then we have King and Queen, T-shirts and things like that. So every now and then, we'll throw something up like that.
I want to know what love is. I want you to show me.
All right, man. We about to keep moving on. All right. So Keon. So after Keon and Aunt Whitney speak, as the meeting is going on, Uncle Billy in Uncle Billy's office, Keon walks by the two-way mirror and he begins to flex his muscles in the mirror. Now, Uncle Billy doesn't see him and Walter doesn't see him, but Elaine sees. And she's getting a little laugh out of it because he's just, flexing and posing in the mirror. And he doesn't know that she's watching him. So she asks Uncle Billy if he can come down on the price of the store. So he was trying to sell. He told her that he had an offer for $390,000 on it. So that was more than what she wanted to pay. And then Keon comes back, and now this time he's looking in the mirror. He's trying to pop a pimple on his nose. And Elaine laughs when she sees that also. Uncle Billy thinks that she's laughing at the price. And, he thinks that she likes the price. And then she tells him that it's 20%, more than what she was willing to pay. And then he says that, maybe there's something we can do about that. Keon is outside. And then a white limo pulls up. Back in the office, Uncle Billy drops the price down to $370,000. Elaine says, okay, we have a deal. They sign the paperwork, and then Keon comes in, and then he tells his uncle that a white limo has just pulled up outside.
Yeah, he comes in and actually interrupts the meeting.
Yeah, he does. Like, he even knocked. He didn't even knock when he did that.
Yeah, he's just, right.
This movie was not as goofy as I thought it was going to be.
For Jackie Chan, I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for Jackie Chan, because I haven't watched a lot of Jackie Chan movies. But I just thought it was always going to be silly and goofy and over-exaggerated, all that type of stuff. Right. And it really wasn't. So I enjoyed it, man. I think the first Jackie Chan movie I saw him in was Rush Hour. Was the Rush Hour movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't see him in anything. I remember when this movie came out, but I didn't go see it when it came out. I didn't go see this movie when it came out. Right. At least I really don't think I did. I don't remember. And I really don't remember ever seeing the movie, so I thought I did. So, Uncle Billy drops the price down to $370,000. Elaine says, okay, we have a deal. They sign the paperwork, and that's when Keon comes in, right? Mm-hmm. Uncle Billy says he'll be right there because the limo is outside. He looks at Elaine and Keon looks at Elaine, and then she flexes her muscles. So she let him know, that she saw him. And then he starts looking at the mirror, and he sees that it's a two-way mirror. So he gets a little bit embarrassed because he figured out that she saw what he had been doing. Uncle Billy, Walter, and Elaine, they come outside of the market, and then Uncle Billy greets the limo driver. I think his name was Steven. And then he invites Elaine to his wedding. See, he's just such a nice guy. Like, he just met this woman. He says, why don't you come to my wedding? Like, man, who does that? Because weddings are expensive. Yeah. You're just not having just anybody come to the wedding, but that's just the type of person that Uncle Billy is. So he invites Elaine to come to his wedding, and his wedding is going to be the next day. Walter and Elaine, they walk away. Keon is looking at the limo. Now, I got a question about this part. So Keon was looking at the limo, and Elaine and Walter walk up, and Elaine turns to Walter, and she says, like, this is a great car. She says that to Walter, and then Kyung answers. He says, yes. And then she turned and looked at him, and she was like giving him a mean mug. When she turned and looked at him, I didn't understand, like, what's up with the attitude? Why is she looking at him like that? Did you see that part?
Yeah, I peeped it, but I didn't know why.
Yeah, okay. I guess they don't explain it later on in the movie, huh? Oh, they maybe? Yes? Okay. Well, okay, I just gotta wait and find out. Okay. And then, so she looks at him weird, and then she kind of walks off. Elaine and Walter walk off. Steven, the limo driver, tells Uncle Billy that he told his boss that he was taking the limo in for a tune-up. So basically, this guy just stole his boss's car. Limo.
Yep.
So he just stole this car. Not only that, he took it to his friend. Is going to let his friend have the car for a day. That's a nice guy.
Nice guy.
That's a real nice guy.
You know, I couldn't tell what kind of car it was.
No, it was an old school car, like very, very, like it looked like something from the
30s.
Yeah, the 30s or 40s, something like Al Capone would have been in or something. You know,
right?
It looked nice. It looked nice. It was nice, but it was just old school. Yeah. So Uncle Billy, so Steven is getting ready to leave. Uncle Billy gives him some money. He didn't really want to take the money. He said, please take the money. And then Steven says, please take care of the car. Don't get a scratch on it. And Uncle Billy told them that he'll treat it like it's his baby. And then that was the end of that scene. You got anything else for that?
No, the car, just the car. I was trying to figure out what kind of car it was. Could never figure it out.
Okay. We're going to see this car again. We're going to see it again pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. Real soon.
Right. The next scene, we see a motorcycle gang coming down the street. It's nighttime. They ride past Uncle Billy's apartment, and they ride past the limo. They're making a lot of noise. They wake Kyung up. He goes to the window. He looks out the window. He sees the two gangs. And then he steps out onto the fire escape to watch what's going on because he doesn't understand what's happening. Yeah.
Stop. You're avoiding the rabbit in the room. What the hell did he have on? It was like a wrestling onesie.
Well, Mike.
Dude slept in a onesie.
I was not paying attention to this man's sleeping gear.
Man. He got up in his drawers. Like, he wasn't even sleeping in boxers. He had on like a onesie.
Honestly, I thought he just...
It was a wife beater.
That's what I thought. A white beater and some tidy whities. That's what I thought.
It was like a white beater hooked to some boxer briefs. I want one of them boys.
Hell no. No. I'm throwing the flag on that one, man. I mean, you cannot. No,
you
Mike.
know what I look like? I'm going to get it in black. I look like a little King Kong Bundy.
Yeah, exactly, man. You don't need to have that, man. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and get the garbage can at night in that boy. Yeah. Looks like King Kong Bundy.
They gonna call the police on you, man. You can't do that to your neighbors, man.
Right. I can, man. They be all right.
So, man, hold on, man. You messing me up. All right. So Kyung, he goes out on the fire escape. He's watching the gang. So they drive down to one end of the street, and then they place a bet. I think they're going to bet $1,000. And then two women take their motorcycles and drive down to the other end, but where the cars start, where they're parking. So they're on the opposite ends of where all the other gang members are. And then they drive up on top of the parked cars, and they're racing each other on top of the cars.
They race down to the end of the street.
Yes.
Turn around, and then on the way back, they're on top of the cars.
They're on top of the cars, and they're smashing the hoods, the windshields. Yeah, I mean, they're messing up all those cars. So Kyung is looking confused as he's watching it, but then he noticed that the limo is right there, and pretty soon the limo is going to get run over. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to wake his uncle up. His uncle is not waking up. He's looking out of the fire escape. He's trying to tell his uncle to get up the car. His uncle just rolls over. So then he decides to rise the ladder of the fire escape. He slides down it and he lands on top of the side. He lands on the sidewalk, and then he gets in the way. He gets on top of the cars also as they're coming. And as he does that, one of the motorcycle drivers has to. We said they were a motorcycle game, right? I think so. Okay, so one of them jumps off of the cars because she tries to avoid hitting Keon because he was right in front of the limo, and she ends up losing that race. And the girl that's on the other side ends up winning. So she turns around and looks at him, and she's clearly pissed by what just happened. You got anything else about this scene, Mike? Oh, and
a little bit. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say on all of that, he's doing all of that in the outfit that Mike likes so much.
The King Kong Bundy outfit. Oh man. So here's my thing. Every movie about the Bronx or New York, they're in some wild outfits. Last Dragon, that was New York.
Yeah.
You go back to the Warriors. Warriors.
I never saw that movie, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're in different outfits. These people did Jotty School. Everybody's in crazy ass outfits, man.
You just throw that in there like that. You just throw that in there like that.
She's like the show enough of karate.
You know what? Jotty School is in the Bronx, isn't it?
I can see him teaching in that mink coat, that chinchilla coat. Who's your master? You are, Johnny.
You think Johnny?
I can hear it.
You think Johnny would be teaching classes in a chinchilla, a mink coat?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. No doubt about it.
Oh man,
Well, I wouldn't be shocked.
Maybe we'll ask him.
If somebody called me, man, if somebody called me and said, "Hey, Johnny was teaching in a mink coat," I'd be like, "Yeah." I wouldn't be surprised.
You say that comment too, like
phone right now. I'm gonna get him on the phone.
You gonna get him on the phone right now?
I'm gonna get him on the phone right now. Special guest. Special guest. I'm calling him right now.
Let's see if he answers the phone. He's
he
probably gonna think you're drunk or something. He gonna think you're drunk.
I'm not. I'm gonna tell him what we're doing.
Hell you want, man?
Hey, we're here doing a podcast live. You're on our podcast.
What's up, Johnny?
Call me live.
Because, man, we got one question for you. Listen, we've been reviewing a lot of movies that are based in New York. One recently was the Bronx. And I just said, it's just some wild characters out there. We got a question for you. Have you ever taught a class or a private or any type of martial arts in a mink or chinchilla coat?
No. Let me tell you what happened. I had on my mink coat free. That's cool. I had on a mink coat and stocking. But it was me and Raw. It wasn't no technical class. It was we both had coats on. I just happened to have
Told you. I told you he is talking. Thank you, sir. I'm going to call you at another time. I appreciate you. I love you, man. Told you. Are you surprised? He is taught karate in a mink coat.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised. What are you talking about?
Don't ever doubt me, man.
Man, it's too
Why
hot.
are you shocked?
Because
Why is anyone
we work
in the martial arts community shocked that he taught in a mink coat? It's Johnny Tention. Why are you shocked? Are you shocked that the person he was giving the lesson to is Ross? No. That Ross was probably testing for a mink coat.
Right, man, you make
Here,
my
Ross,
stomach hurt.
you get these drills good. Ross. You get a mink coat. Promoted to chinchilla coat.
Dog, you killing me. I can't laugh no more.
Ross got promoted. Ross got promoted to chinchilla coat that night, and he's blaming it on the heat was out. But he ain't paid the damn bill because he had to pay for that for Ross's chinchilla coat that he was getting promoted to.
Oh man!
All right, that's enough picking on my boy, man.
Oh man, I can't believe.
But the characters in the movies in New York, are sweet.
I can't believe that.
Show enough.
Johnny was sitting up looking like Frank Lucas. He was looking like Frank Lucas teaching the class. Oh man! I hope he didn't have a hat on too. I hope he didn't have
the hat.
Oh man! Damn, man! Shit, we done messed up, man. Oh man!
So anyway, she falls off the motorcycle trying to avoid him, and
oh man! All right,
trying
so
to get you back on track, man. That's
yeah, man. Yeah, man. So she gets off the cars. Ah, shit. Damn. All right, let me check it out. All right, check it out. So the police are coming. So the gang takes off. They ride past. I'm surprised that none of the cops stopped and looked at Keon because he's standing there in his underwear. And it's like, yeah. I'm surprised he didn't stop to check on him or something. And he said he's cold. He said he's freezing. He's trying to get in. All right. The next scene, we are at the wedding reception. Oh, man, I still just had an image of Johnny. And the chinchilla coat, the hat, the Frank Lucas sunglasses.
And Ross, a young Ross, standing there trying to get promoted.
Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it through the rest. All right. Let me try to check it out. Come on. Okay. Uncle Billy and his wife, they're dancing. Keon approaches.
Are you thinking about Ross sitting there or Johnny?
Hey, Johnny, I just keep seeing the image, man. I'm trying to get rid of this damn image on my head so I can talk. Every time I look at the pages, that's all I can see.
Look at that. Yo, get that knee up higher, Ross. Get that knee up higher, Ross.
Man. All right, so.
Talk about Harlem ain't got.
All right, let me snap back to it. Okay, Uncle Billy and his wife are dancing. Keon approaches Elaine, who's sitting at a table by herself. He introduces himself. He tells her if she needs any help, he can stay a little longer. Uncle Billy comes over to the table and thanks Elaine for coming. Mm-hmm. She tells him that Uncle Billy and Keon she tells Uncle Billy that Keon has agreed to stay a little bit longer and help out every day next week, which he did not say, but she kind of put him on Front Street with that one. Uncle Billy is happy. He says that he can relax and enjoy his honeymoon, knowing that Keon will be around to help her. Uncle Billy leaves. Keon says that at least he knows his schedule for next week. And Elaine tells him they will open at 6:30, and there's so much to do. So up until that, I was wondering what was he planning to do? Like Uncle Billy, he was there for the wedding, and Uncle Billy was going on the honeymoon right after the wedding.
Right, but he agreed just the little stay on to help. But
yeah, he sold it. I wouldn't be planning to stay around to help the new owner.
Right.
That's crazy.
And what do you really know? You just showed up on the scene.
Right. And at that time there was no problems within the
no one.
With the store. So I don't know. The next scene, Keon is in the apartment. He's working out. This is the part you were talking about, Mike.
Yes.
So Keon is doing his handstand push-ups.
In the onesie.
Yeah, in that outfit, yep. The news is on. Now, I don't know. I didn't even know if this was an important part of the movie or not, but I wrote it down. So I hear the news is on. And then they say that we hear that diamonds have been stolen, valued at several $1 million.
I didn't check that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I heard that, and I was like, man, I don't know if this is part of the movie or not, but I'm gonna write it down just in case. So, and like I said, I haven't finished watching the movie, so I don't know if it is or not. Don't spoil it for me. Well, either way. So then there's a knock at the door. Keon walks on his hands over to the door. I'm like, okay, nah, he's just showing off. Like put your feet down and walk over to the door. Open the door.
It's the Van Damme version of the splits. Quit showing off.
Yeah, exactly. But this is another weird thing because he's in his uncle's apartment. Why are they knocking on the door? This is their apartment.
Yeah, because the uncle comes in and was like, he might have some company.
Yeah, so when he opened the door, the aunt was right there, and he realized that he didn't have no pants on, so he was scared. He didn't want the aunt to see him in that outfit, so he runs away. He runs away to put some clothes on. That's when the uncle says, "Oh, he must have a girl in the back," but really he was just going to put on some pants. And then that's when they come in with the matching sweaters, and he has some paperwork for Keon to give to Elaine. And then he also leaves some money for Keon, some spending money for him to have. Oh man, hold on. Something just popped up on my computer. There we go.
Hold on one second. Hold on.
Okay. So Mike had to run away for a second, people. But damn, I'm trying to keep myself together, but I keep on thinking about Johnny Tention in a chinchilla coat with a chinchilla hat and sunglasses, walking around Ross as he's doing his drills, doing his combinations, doing push-ups, and I can just see Johnny just like getting ready to pimp slap him across the face. I can't stop thinking about this shit. I can't stop thinking about it, man. It's killing me. All right, you ready? Ready to keep going, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
All right. So they drop off the paperwork and the money for Keon, and they leave. Keon comes running out and to tell his uncle to wait, and he says, "No, I'll see you in a week." Because the uncle still thinks that he has a woman in the back. So he tries to catch his uncle, but his uncle says okay, and he leaves. And that's the end of that scene. Next scene, the bikers arrive at the market. So this is when the trouble pretty much starts for Keon, because nothing really is going to be the same after this. Right. Elaine and Keon are in the back of the office. Well, they're in the back office finishing the deal. He gives her the paperwork. She's signing the paperwork. She gives him a check for the business. And they're pretty much just finalizing the sale of the supermarket. And then that's when Keon sees a biker stealing. He can see through the two-way mirror, so he sees. He also sees that biker drinking some of the juice also, and Elaine turns around. She sees him also. She notices him, and she says that she'll make him pay for everything. So she leaves the office. She goes up closer to the register. Now, at the register, there's another biker and his girl, and he asks her if she needs anything. She says no. A biker calls out to the one who's already stealing, and he waves a candy bar at him, letting him know that he wants this candy bar.
Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. I wasn't going to mention them since they're not sponsoring us, but it is what it is. They might give sponsors.
I sponsor Kit Kat, man.
So he goes over. He asks how much the Kit Kat is, and he said the woman at the counter says it's 50 cents. And then Elaine asks, what about the juices that he had been drinking while walking around in the store? He asked her if she wanted to, if she was going to pay for if she wanted him to pay for it. Then he tells her to try some. So he's trying to force her to drink that juice. Then he throws the bottle down, and then another biker approaches, and this time he's speaking in Cantonese. So he's kind of messing with her because she's thinking that he's going to be a friend,
right?
But he wasn't. So she tells him what the one biker did. So then Keon walks up, and he's paying attention to what's going on. Both of the bikers begin to throw items up in the air and making a mess out of the cash register area. And then Keon grabs one of the bikers' bag that he had. He dumps it out, and he was stealing a bunch of stuff. So not only was the one guy stealing stuff, but this guy was too. And this guy had a bag of stuff that he was trying to steal. The biker tries to attack Keon, but Keon blocks him. Two more other guys come, so it's 4 guys now against Keon. And then one pulls out a knife. And then that's when Elaine says no, she doesn't want any trouble in her store. She apologizes and says that she was wrong. Yeah, she tells them, they tell her to shut up. And then that's pretty much when the fight starts. Keon attacks them. He's knocking the knife out of their hands. He's beating them up. All four bikers. He kicks and punches all of them very fast. I couldn't even tell if they had sped up the film or not because everything looked like it was fast, but it didn't look like it was. It didn't look like it was super fast, but it looked. I was like impressed. Like, man, Jackie Chan is moving really, really fast. You know.
Yeah, we hadn't seen no good fight scenes in a while, so that was good.
Yeah, that was a real good fight scene. So one tries to run away. He turns around. He runs into a pole. Elaine is shocked. The bikers stumble out of the store, and Keon tells them never to come back, or he'll beat each of them up again. The last biker runs off, and Elaine is just staring at Keon. She was looking at him like Laura was looking at a Leroy. It was on, you know.
Yeah. Did he clap at her or something? What did he do?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Yeah. So yeah, he did because she was just staring. She's like in a daze, and he woke her up out of it.
Yeah.
So Elena asked if they hurt him, and he says no. Everyone is impressed, and then Keon says that was Chinese kung fu. There was another guy who came up. I'm just going to ignore him because he was stupid, and I'm not going to even say how he was acting and what he did. He was out of there. I was like once again, here we go with this shit. But anyway. The next scene. You got anything else, Mike, about that scene?
Just that I noticed, like, when he was fighting him, he was using his jacket, and it reminded me of the next Karate Kid. So that, I'm thinking,
they did do
I'm
that
thinking
with
that
Jada.
might be part of that style.
Yeah, they did do that with Jaden. I do remember when he kept having Jaden take it off, put it back up.
Take it on and put it back on.
Yeah, I do remember that. That's right. Maybe. So is that Jackie Chan's style? Is he like in the same style as Bruce? I got a question at the end of this review. I got a question for you about that also. Because I saw something, an interesting meme, and it'll be a nice debate for people. So now it's evening time. They're closing up the store. They're closing up the market. The employees are leaving. Keon helps Elaine bring down the security gate. She can't do it by herself. She tries, and she goes for a ride up in the sky, and then he helps bring her back down. And she looks at, she locks it, and Keon walks off. And when he walks off, he's walking down the street. He has some groceries for himself, and he hears a woman scream, and he looks up, and he sees these guys around this woman, and he sees them taking her away down the alley. So he turns around and looks to see if anyone else is going to help him. They don't, because there are other people on the street, and they're just kind of just standing there. So he goes after them. He goes down the alley. Would you do that, Mike? I think so. In a situation like that, you either look for some assistance, call the police, and then go and maybe try
911.
Yeah, and try and I don't know, maybe become a witness or something. But as far as thinking you're gonna jump in and get involved, you just never know. It's been situations where people
if somebody's attacking somebody, they're gonna kill them. There's a possibility they could kill them, man.
Yeah.
Now, if it's somebody I know,
that's something.
I know that sounds bad, but it's something different.
But you have to. Yeah. Because sometimes there have been situations where people have jumped in to a domestic situation and they got turned on by the supposed victim. Turned on them, So it's a dangerous situation. Something you have to think about before you just jump in and try and be a superhero. None of us have any superpowers, and ain't none of us glowing. None of us got the glow or anything.
No one's biting bullets.
Yeah, right. So Keon, he attacks. He jumps in. He tries to help. Wait. Where did I leave off at? Oh, my fault. Before he attacks, he screams that he's the police, and he holds up his wallet, pretending that he has a badge.
And he's reaching in the back, like, what was he reaching for? Like he had a gun?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what he was doing. And he goes and they kind of run off, and he checks on the woman to see if she's okay, and she needs him right in the groin. And he falls down, he's hurt. And then that's when he sees the woman. She walks away, And then that's when everybody comes back out, all of the different gang members. So it's the biker gang again. So they were pretty much setting him up because they knew that he was going to try and get involved. And they come back with weapons this time. So Keon runs. He's trying to fight back. He's using his surroundings. He's jumping up walls and all types of stuff. He evades them, and then he attack. He evades and he attack. He's trying to leave, and the group appears on bikes now. So before they were all on feet, but then a group of guys show up on bikes, and they chase him down another alley, and this alley is a dead end. I like this scene. I like this scene because it was something I never saw before. The guy, he can hear them coming. They're walking down the alley, and when they get there, one guy pulls out a gun, and he's going to shoot. He tells Keon he's going to die. The leader says, no, not here. Let's have some fun. They knock over garbage cans, and then they wrap their bats with towels or something to that effect. And then they start hitting bottles at him. And the bottles would hit the brick wall that he was in front of, and then they would break and they would cut him. I never seen anything like that before. So they're constantly hitting these bottles. So they don't even have to get close to him. And they're hurting him. They're doing damage. Those bottles are coming. Some of them are actually hitting him, and they're slicing them up pretty good. And he's getting hurt. He's falling down. He's trying to cover himself up, but there's just so much glass coming at him at one time. All these different bottles. So that scene impressed me because I never seen anything like that. And
at first I was like, man, how was he cut? And then I'm like, man, is the broken glass is messing him up.
Yeah. And, that was slick because they knew that they couldn't beat him up one-on-one because they already had that situation. So now they really did damage and not even having to get too close to him. So after doing that for a while, one guy pulls out the gun again. He was going to shoot him. And a girl tries to stop him from doing that. And he slaps her. And then the other girl that was there, she kind of pushes his nose. And his nose is still hurt from the other day. So it was broken. So he falls down. He gets back up. He's about to shoot her. And then the leader of the gang, I never got none of these people's names. He ends up grabbing the gun and stops him from shooting. So all of the gang members at this point in time are pretty much done. Keong is on the ground. He's messed up bad. He's laying there. He's bleeding. And then the gang all just decides to leave. They just kind of feel like, that one guy was going too far by pulling the gun out and trying to murder Keong. And you got anything, Mike?
No, just that glass breaking scene's intense, man.
Yeah.
The one bottle hits his leg, he falls. But other than that, the rest of it was all broken glass doing the damage. Yeah.
I was wondering, also, too, man, how come these bottles aren't breaking on impact? Like, when they hit them? And I guess that was the point of them wrapping. The towel. Yeah, wrapping the bats with the towel. And then it was, being sent this way. All right, the next scene. We find out that one of the biker girls is actually Danny's sister. Hey, I saw that. I'm like, oh, man. Why? Why?
Drama.
Yeah. So she goes home, and Danny is playing the video game that Keonka gave him. She's asking Danny questions, but he isn't even answering her. She asks him if he's eating. He said, if I had to wait on you, I would starve to death. She asks him where he got the game from. He says Keon gave it to him, and she asks who is Keon. He says the neighbor's nephew. So then she gets upset because she's told him not to go outside, not to go out with anyone, especially strangers. And he tells her that he's a nice guy. He's not really a stranger. Danny is upset that she's always telling him to stay at home, and she's never at home. So he's just pretty much will be in the house by himself. But it seemed like that he had a good relationship with Uncle Billy. So that's that. I mean, I guess that was okay for him, but it's still not like having, family, mom, dad, cousins, something, especially if your sister's supposed to be taking care of you.
Right.
So, but she says that, she has to go to work to support them, but Danny feels ignored. She apologizes, and then she goes outside to take the garbage out. And when she goes out, she runs into Keong, and he is messed up. He's cut up. He's bleeding all over the place. He's reaching out to her, and she screams, and then he just kind of falls down onto the ground. And then Danny comes out when he hears her scream, and he's wondering what's going on. Danny tells her that that's Kyung, and then Danny screams for help, and she tells him to go get her some towels. Now, yeah, we're almost done. Now, so the next scene, Kyung wakes up on the couch. He sees Danny working with the Wing Chun wooden dummy. Mm-hmm. Danny asks Kyung if he's okay. This is a creepy part. You know what I'm talking about? So,
oh yeah.
Kyung says that he got beat up.
Yes.
Danny tells him that his sister dressed his wounds, and undressed him. And then she made him breakfast. And then Danny tells Kyung that his sister is 21 and pretty. And then he looked at him and started raising his eyebrows, like, you want her? You want to come get some? And I saw that, I was like, whoa, like this is a little creepy right here. Why is the brother trying to hook his sister up, number one, and why is he looking at his sister, like that?
Right.
Danny's trying to pimp his sister out. That's pretty much what he's trying to do. Danny the pimp. Kyung asks where she is. Danny says she went to school, and then after school she goes to work. And that seemed weird to me also, but like I said, I don't know if that's something later, because he was looking weird when he said that, that she goes to school and she goes to work. Kyung gets up and tells Danny he has to go to the market, and Lane needs some help. And then the next scene after that, Kyung is walking down the street, and the bikers are here again. They show up again, and I was like, "Damn! Like they just won't leave him alone." Like, why? In my head, when I saw this part, I was thinking like, "All right,
about to get it again."
Yeah, they already beat him up. They beat him up badly, and I'm assuming that the sister had to tell, because she was dating one of the bikers. So I just assumed that she had to tell them, like, "Okay, leave him alone. Y'all, we got him real good. He's not going to bother us anymore or whatever."
Right.
But, the bikers show up, and then they rush at him. Now, Kyung, he's looking concerned. Like, the look on his face showed that he has had enough of them. He didn't want to fight anymore. He was done. And he was standing, like, in one of those outside restaurant eating areas. So he's standing there, and he decides to run away. The bikers, they run right through that sitting area, and he's running from them. He running down alleys. He jumps over fences. He jumps through the sunroof of a car.
And the bike goes over it.
The bikers go over the car. He gets out the car and he runs. He's scaling fences. He's falling onto cars and hitting the ground. I was thinking, like, man, one of the big things with Jackie Chan is he's doing his own stunts. And I was thinking, like, this shit gotta hurt. All of this. I mean, because, like, how many times, when you do a movie, you're doing multiple takes. So I was wondering, like, how many times is he doing this? And
it's funny. At the end of the movie, they show it.
Okay.
They show, like, all the retakes. They show him getting injured. They show him getting, like, doctored up by medics on the set. Actually, the girl that went over the bikes and then fell. They show her getting mediced up. In the scene you just talked about, the sunroof.
Yeah.
And the bike went over it. It actually ran over his, what? It shows it. So, like, he's in the sunroof like this.
Yeah.
The bike comes up and it's like, poof, and he's like,
man, talk about the Nutcracker.
So it's cool. They touch on that at the end of the movie and they show it.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure I watch that.
Stay on through the credits.
Okay, so it's through the credits. Okay, all right. So then he's running, and what about this part? So he jumps down, and he lands on the ground, and a van is coming, and he quickly goes up against the wall as the van was going by him, and then the van kind of stops, and he scoots out and takes off. And I was seeing, like, well, damn, that was dangerous as hell too, because his foot could have got ran over by the tires, like any little thing, and Jackie Chan could have been really, really messed up.
Or air on the other person driving the van.
Yeah. So
err on somebody else's part. He's messed up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The bikers are still chasing him after all of that. Like when you guys see this scene, like he is running for his life, and he got to be getting tired at this point because I was getting tired sitting there watching him. So he eventually runs by one of the guys, and he snatches him off of a bike. So it was two people on the bike, and he snatched one of the guys off, and he beat that guy up pretty good. And the other guy turns around, and Kyung makes him run into one of those things. I call it a security arm because sometimes when you're going into a parking garage, at this point in the movie, he is inside of a parking garage, and when you pull,
you would call it.
Well, when you pull in, and you have to push a button, and you'll take a little ticket out, and then the arm kind of raises. So I just called that a security arm. I didn't know what else to call it.
Okay.
So he made one of the bikers run into that thing, the security arm. Then another biker comes out of the stairwell, swings a bat at him. Kyung avoids them. Kyung is he's cornered, and then he decides to climb up to the next level. So, and that's another thing I was thinking, like man, Jackie Chan is literally climbing up this parking garage. He gets on the fence and he reaches up or jumps up and grabs the next level and then pulls himself up, then goes up to the next level again. I was like, man, please don't fall. You are going to kill yourself. So then the bikers are on the roof looking around for him. They can't find him. Kyung is in the back of a truck. And then the owner of that truck, he gets in his truck and he turns around and sees him. And Kyung's trying to tell him, like, don't say anything. But the guy says, what are you doing in my truck? Get out of my truck. He gets out. The bikers come over and they see him in the truck. So then they decide to push this truck off of the top of the roof of the parking garage. So they're pushing it back. And then Kyung is trying to get out. So he's like under all of these balls, like not kind of like medicine balls or, something like that. They were like these balls.
They were heavier than like a bouncy ball.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were.
Yeah, so they were. It was a whole bunch of these balls, and he was in there. So he climbs up out of all of these balls, jumps on top of the hood of the truck, and then he jumps off of the truck. And the truck goes over the roof onto the ground, and the balls are everywhere in the street. So then the bikers, Kyung runs again, and the bikers chase him once again. Kyung is cornered again. One of the bikers wants to make a deal. He says, Kyung, if you kiss my ass, then we'll let you go. So then he pulls his pants down, and he bends over. Kyung breaks off the antenna of one of the cars, and then he runs over and, hits him in his ass with this antenna. And, of course, he's hurt. So then after he does that, he jumps on top of the cars. He's running toward the edge of the garage, and he jumps off of the car, and he jumps all the way over to the other building and lands like on the fire escape, kind of into a doorway, and he lands and hits the ground, and he's hurt. He's laying there, but he gets up. Yeah. And then the bikers are surprised when they see him do this, especially the leader. He didn't look too happy, but he's upset. The bikers just said that they can't believe what's going on. And then they hear the police coming, and then they all leave. And then that's where we're going to end it for this episode. We're going to stop right there, and we're going to finish the next part for next week when you guys hear the next podcast. So pretty good, Mike. It wasn't a bad movie.
No. It's probably one of the best so far.
Yeah, it's up there. It's a good movie. So I saw a meme the other day. I should have downloaded, but it said it was asking. It had a picture of Jackie Chan and the other picture of Bruce Lee. Mm-hmm. And it asked, like, how come Jackie Chan doesn't get the same type of respect that Bruce Lee gets?
Because he wasn't the first.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of also. Because Jackie Chan has done more movies, I'm assuming, than Bruce Lee.
And better movies.
Yeah, and better movies. Even though, I was about to say even though his are silly, but then again, that Way of the Dragon, that was, oh, God. No. Right. That was a pretty goofy, silly movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got anything else about this movie, Mike?
No, man. The second half gets pretty good, too. I mean, I'm happy with this movie.
Yeah,
I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
Fight scenes are pretty good. Fight scenes get pretty, I don't want to spoil it, but they get good, and it's a good little story plot twist. So,
okay, all right. So I'm most definitely looking forward to watching. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow and do my notes tomorrow for the second half of the movie. Since we will be recording part 2 early, for everyone.
Now I'm gonna go get by some black bears.
I don't worry about the Bears, man. They'll be all right. You'll be all right. Ain't nothing to worry about.
Man, I'm gonna rent something else, man. I'm not staying in no camper.
Oh, that's what you guys are supposed to be staying in as a camper?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I'm not.
You're not. That's not for you, huh?
Not no more?
No. Mike,
I'm in a hotel.
Do you think this is the last topic we're gonna get into today.
Okay.
Do you think our activity, sport karate, it's been around for a long time, but do you think it will be around in another 15 to 20 years? Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't know.
There'll be some form of it, but I don't think it'll be not even how it is now. I think the numbers are just going to keep diminishing and diminishing.
Yeah, and you know what, man? And I was thinking about this also because a lot of times, think about adults training. A lot of times, ever since MMA, if an adult male wants to do martial arts, he's going to do MMA. Now, the people who do karate that are adults, they probably have kids
that do karate.
that are already currently in your school, your program,
mm-hmm.
or they were at one point in time associated with your school or your program, and now they're looking to continue. They're coming back. So maybe at one point in time when they were 15 to 16, they decided to stop. Now they're 22, 23, 24, and they want to come back into
Correct.
it, But I don't really see too many adult men coming into a karate school. Now, that's just me, and that's in my area. So in other parts of the country, I'm quite sure you guys might feel a little bit different. But I'm talking about from my experience and from the things that I've seen so far, I'm not seeing too many. So I mean, it just got me thinking. Like I think that there really needs to be a reality show. Especially, man, my girl had me watching this reality show one time, and it was about little girls that were in a dance school.
Oh, Dance Moms.
That was the name of it? Dance Moms?
I live with a dance mom.
Yeah, okay. So
they make karate parents look sane.
Wow, really? Now,
you have no clue.
No, I don't, man. Because I only saw that show once or twice. I didn't sit there and get all into it. So my thing is, if that type of show can have, if that can have a reality show to explain what they do, how come we can't have one also to explain what we do? Especially do you remember the Tap Out show when Tap Out had a TV show?
But I think because everyone understands what dance is and everyone understands what MMA is, no one understands what our sport is.
But nobody understood MMA in 2006, 2007. The vast majority of people didn't. No, the vast majority of people did not know because remember,
here's the difference.
When people really thought what the UFC was
here's the
before,
difference. The people that didn't know what it was, they could tune in 2 minutes and understand what it was.
I don't think so, man.
Even Dana will tell you the views went up during the fight because people was calling their friends saying, "Hey, there's a badass fight on TV right now. Turn the channel."
Yes,
no one's gonna say turn the channel during this karate.
We don't know that, man. We don't know that. If we have a good sport, listen. Number one, that Ultimate Fighter finale, the first one, was still the finale of the show. So they had a lot of people watching the show already.
And they had a lot of martial artists watching the show.
They had a lot of wrestling fans watching the show also because that show came on after WWE. So that helped that helped bring in an audience. And during the show, you were able to find out about MMA because before that show, for the vast majority of people, they thought that MMA, UFC was like how it was back in '93. I know I did. I didn't know the rules had changed at that time until I saw the first Ultimate Fighter. And then that's when, I didn't know the rules had changed. I thought it was still like how it was. Like, even still, like the first set in 93 and 94, those were tournaments. And then they started doing the super fights with, when you start having Mark Coleman and some of those other guys and Bass Rutten and all those guys. So it kind of changed from when Hoist Gracie was there to when those guys were there. But then it changed again. In the early 2000s. I didn't know any of those changes had happened. I still thought it was like how it was with Hoist Gracie and them. It wasn't until I saw the Ultimate Fighter and then I started learning, so this is the rules. So this is what jiu-jitsu is, this, that, and the other. And they really broke things down. So then when that finale came on, of course people were interested in seeing it. I think that we have to have some type of way to teach the average person about our activity, about our sport, reason why our activity can be good for MMA guys, for working on their speed, working on their footwork, and how it can benefit them in their activity. Then I think that our activity can grow a little bit better, and we can hold off on the extension that's coming.
Right. No, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, but I just don't see it in our lifetime, man.
And because we probably, it depends. It's gotta be people that's brave enough to do it. I think a lot of people are kind of set in ways. It's always, I mean, because UFC wasn't the first. I mean, there were also other organizations going on at that time. It was Pride was going on, and and some of the other ones. But when the UFC made it pop, they had to be the first ones to make it pop. So then other people felt it could be okay. So it got to be some organization. It got to be somebody brave enough to put something, to do it, to show how things can change and think that our activity. I mean, because think about it, man. Like our activity, there's a lot of people who want to be tough. There are a lot of people who want to learn martial arts, but there are people who still want to be able to get up and go to work the next day. They don't want to have the type of sparring where they're going to be super duper sore.
No, I get it.
Face all messed up, nose broken, cauliflower ear, and everything, And, our activity, you don't really get all of that. Of course, you can get injured, you can get hurt.
Right.
But it's not the same level as MMA. You know what I mean? So I think there are some people that, if we can get them educated on our activity, we can hopefully and help all of our businesses also, because if people are interested in karate now I have the chance to bring in more adult students. When you start having your school, you have the chance, and everyone else that's part of the main gang that have schools that can increase their revenue, whatever.
Right.
And, so we'll see, man. Hopefully somebody can come up with something. All right.
Have a network deal.
All right, man. So we've been going for quite a while now. I know we're over an hour. We did our thing. You got any other final thoughts, man?
No, I'm gonna go look for a new place to stay for my camping trip. I think we gotta think about Johnny and that coat for a while.
Oh man, I'm glad it died down, because you know what, man? I was 2 seconds from losing it. I was 2 seconds from losing it. I had to pause, man. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I want to do this on the show. Oh, I had to gain composure myself. I did. I'm proud of myself. I'm giving myself a pat on the back for making it through, because that was some funny shit. For real.
Right.
All right, so we're going to shut it down now. This was another good episode. Next week, you guys are going to hear part 2 for Rumble in the Bronx. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. For everyone here on the Martial Arts Center Network, I'm Eugene Plowden. That's Mike Gibbs. We will see you guys next week. Stay safe. Stay strong. Have a good weekend, everybody. Peace.
See ya.